Last night, I entered on a new voyage of discovery, and I want to take you with it because it blew my mind. Right, firstly, well, no, we'll get to that in a second. But it blew my mind. So I watch shows like there's shows I like to rewatch over and over again because it's always levels of layers of nuance and performance in them that I really do. So Mad Men is my real go-to, right? I've been through the entire Mad Men 3 or 4 times. And a few months ago, I reached the end of it. And oftentimes I start again, although Mad Men really only pulls together by season 2, right? So I at the time when the Penguin was playing, I was watching the Penguin, and I didn't really like it, right? I really didn't like it. I kept saying, I'd rather watch Sopranos. Right, I've watched Sopranos. So now I started watching Sopranos. Right, so Sopranos, I got to. I started at season 5 because I wanted be prime Sopranos, the be cooked Sopranos, and season 6 is a double season. But so I'm about halfway. I'm about 2/3. I'm about a third of the way through season 6 right now. So I'm looking to the future. So I'm also rewatching Blake 7, but I've got to finish. Season 1 and also season 4, right? Because season 1 came out in the middle, right? So I was thinking to myself, after Sopranos, again, it's not like I watch religiously, just it's my go-to show to chill out with, right? Is you know what? I should really give Deep Space Nine a look again, right? Because I remember really, really enjoying it, but watch the entire show, right? The problem is it looks like garbage on Netflix, right? Because it's low res, right? No problem. There's been there's several fan AI upgrades, upscales to 1080. Made a complete difference, right? Made a complete difference. Oh, 1 second. So hang on a second. I see a message. Oh, is there I can play it? No, not right now. Dang. I have to work it out. After I will get. Yeah. So it upgrades to 1080. So I can watch on my big screen. And the upgrade is fan-freaking-tastic. It's absolutely good. I'll show it to you. If you're watching it 1080, go to full screen, right? I'm broadcasting it at 1080. So go to full screen. And at 1080, choose 1080, and you should be able to see the whole thing. Where is it? You should be able to get an idea that it's at least better than the Netflix one, right? And here, we'll pull out again, I'm sure you can see on your screen. It's much crisper, right? It's much crisper. So anyway, so I was toying around with the idea of watching DS9. Let's see if I can get to a beauty shot of the. There you go. Think of that again. 1080, right? Done by fans, and I found it on Reddit. You can get you can BitTorrent it. It's really worth it, right? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna put it on for 10 minutes, just to see if it works. Is it really dated, right? Am I going to be able to sit through it? I don't know, right? Because Next Generation is very dated. I hate to tell you. TNG it's very much late 80s TV. It's great in a lot of ways, and I love it dearly. And it was great because it broke the boundary of a very restrictive late 80s TV landscape, right? In significant ways. But still, it had a teaser and four acts with mini cliffhangers. Right, and in Next Generation, this happened a lot. You should go back and look. You would have Riker walk from one side of the bridge and walk from another side of the bridge, so they could line up together for the closing shot to commercials. Right, and they say, duh, 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 and they would literally walk across the Enterprise for no reason other than to line up the shot. And it's so funny when you see it. It's like, what? Really? So it's way more dated than you think. It's very good. I like it a lot. It's very good. So I was like, hey, can I watch it? I put it on. I watched the whole Emissary, the whole 90-minute season premiere, and it was fabulous. It's so much better than I remembered. Right? And firstly, Avery Brooks's performance in the Wolf 359 scene, brilliant, right? Absolutely brilliant. He knocked it out the park again and again and again in the opening few minutes, right? I remember being so disappointed with the Wolf 359 thing. Now I loved it. I was like, yeah, it's so awesome, right? It was fantastic. It just seemed like a very classy, cut above the rest production. It was really genuinely fantastic. And I finally the other thing when I was watching that thing, I was remembering in Star Trek because of season 3, right? You had Captain, the one I really liked. You introduced him eating this very tasty looking vegan steak, right? This green vegan steak. It looked really, really yummy. I can't remember. He was great. Todd Stadwick, right? He had this incredible speech about surviving Wolf 359 in like the middle of Picard, and it was so good, right? It was so freaking good. So yeah, I couldn't help but think about that in it. It's fantastic scene, right? It was really good on every level. And here's the thing: the script is so tight, and it held together so incredibly well. So you get that first thing, and again, Avery Brooks knocks it out the park. Right, and I didn't appreciate it at the time. But he knocks it out that park with that performance because he seems like a man whose life is being ripped away from him, right? And he plays it in a kind of a subtle way that really works, right? And you can see he was definitely ready to stay there on the ship with his wife, and die with him, right? She was already dead. Did you see him? So I'm going to get a little bit of that. Jennifer. Yeah, when he gets pulled away.
Hi, sir. Got to go now, sir.
Damn it! We just can't leave her here. Oh!
And I hated this first time I saw it. Right, I thought, now I'm on the other side of that, and I can empathize it more. Yeah, it really was a gut wrenching performance, right? So yeah, then you get everybody's so young in the pilot. That's the other great thing about pilot. No one's cooked. Everyone's at the starting point, and the starting point's really good. But that's not what the characters are. They develop and become tailored to the character pretty darn quickly. So they arrive at Deep Space Nine, and you get all this wonderful tension with Picard. Let's go back to the image of the. I love when they come out the holodeck and there's a conveniently placed window where you get da 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 da. That's the other thing, right? So we get the pre-title sequence, and then we go straight into the titles, and it's so fearlessly different from any Star Trek that's been before it, right? It's aggressively got its own identity. Right, it's like da 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 da. No, it's majestic. Yeah, let's play a little bit of the titles. Oh, and first time you hear the DS9 theme, it's great. Yeah, the quietness and subtlety of it, and again, but now it's upscaled. It's so watchable. Just beautiful. I also think the Voyager titles were beautiful as well. Enterprise, but here's the thing, right? When you come to when you first see DS9 in the titles, that is tiny in the distance, right? And again, it's such a different show. It's such a show that has its own identity and is unafraid to have its own identity. So yeah, and I just realized. That's what all the Star Trek shows had in the Rick Berman era, right? You had Voyager aggressively wanted to be different, wanted to be its own self, didn't want to be Star Trek. They want to be Star Trek Voyager, right? Now you can say the same thing about Enterprise. Enterprise, they had some decisions they chickened out of, like they wanted to do the whole first season on Earth, right before the Enterprise launch. I think that probably would have been a bad idea. I love the pilot of Enterprise. I love the pilot of Voyager, right? Its first show. Can I say the first show with no voiceover, right? So yeah, so then you're into like this really dark Star Trek, which you never see in Next Generation, right? It's always upbeat. Here, this is like, you know, first you get a familiar face with Chief O'Brien, right? So, which is really nice. And Colmead is great in this as well. And everything's beaten up, and the station's falling apart, right? And they get to see where the disarray it's all in. And it's all kind of down and downbeat. Nana Vista, like, is into it. She is so freaking hot. She gets a lot hotter as the episode goes on, right? But she was 36. She was born in 57. So this is 96, 93. So 57, 67, 77, 87, 90. So that's, she was 36 at the time. She looks 26. Okay. She looks stunning, right? Absolutely stunning. And then you also get introduced. It's just a I say it's very tightly written. I was just going to try and get a good. Oh, come on! There you go. And look, she looks very young, right? She looks very good, and she does. It's fascinating. It looks fabulous in it. But here's the thing. Again, it's very its own thing, right? With the not everybody pulling in the same direction, and it's weirdly still very, very authentically Star Trek. It's very much in that universe. And so each scene is it's somewhat of an interlocking clockwork, of a story, but it's actually a real story, right? So he arrives on Beja, and they said, "Look, you're going to be gone in a week. The provisional government's going to fall in a week. Everything. You're not going to be here. Well, there's not even point making friends. But yeah, go ahead, take the office, right?" And we get introduced to Odo, and Quark's leaving. Everything is bad, right? And then he meets Picard, and he's all bitchy to Picard. Have we met before? Yes, in battle. 359. He's a bit of a dick, right? He is a bit of a dick. And he's like, "Look, I'm leaving Starfleet. Fuck off. Leave me alone. I'm not up for any of this." Right? So then he's trying to get Quark to stay. He's like, "Yeah, no, this government's going to fall nowhere." Okay, this is the greatest scene ever. She looks stunning in this, and we never see in this costume again. I'm like, oh, darling. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even sure there's any, much underwear actually going on. Oh, can I help you with that, please, resistant fighter? No, okay, we'll scoot forward a little bit. Oh, yeah. Be still my beating heart. Oh, she looks so hot. Right, never saw that costume again. Never saw the costume again. We get introduced to the whole idea of the prophets, and again, these characters are all moving forward, which I like. I love the classic Star Trek glass painting shot. Right, so he goes down to Beja and he meets what's it called again? What's the name of the bloody thing? Kai. What was the name of the thing? Not Vedic. Kayapaka, right? She meets Kayapaka. Now, at the time, God, you morons. This was based on, this is supposed to be the Palestinians, and the Kardashians supposed to be the Israelis. Fuck you. Fucking morons. Right? Fuck you. The Palestinians are not simple, peaceful, spiritual people being taken over by a totalitarian state. No, they're murderous psychopaths, generally speaking. Anyway, but again, I just want to point out how well the script is written, because everything is there, and it's smart, right? It introduces you to everything, and it tells you a story, right? You don't get good storytelling anymore. Anyway, so you get the orb, and he gets to meet his wife again. And listen, however great his acting job was at the beginning when she's dying, this one, not so much. Well, although she does look good in her bikini, right? So she's like, "You got to find the prophets, warn about the Kardashians, take our one last orb." Okay, she cried. And they do this. Oh, yeah. So then towards the end of the first part, right, you actually get a bit of hope that he's conned Quark into opening the bar. And it really, again, so not Star Trek, so not Next Generation, so Star Trek, right? It just really works, right? And it's a bit of like, punchy air moment, right? then Dax arrives, and boy, does she look hot. And again, you got all the they're fresh out. The characters are fresh out the box, and they really move away from this very, very, very quickly, right? Where she's like an old man in a very young hot woman's body.
He's a little young for you, isn't he?
He's 27. I'm 28.
3.
Terry Farrell was good. Again, all these characters are interesting, and it's not because they're queer. They're just interesting people, and they're not all goody two shoes so much like they are in Next Gen. I like how they started Bashir being a bumbling naive, and they basically went on to how he was like a genetically engineered arsehole, right? And there's again the way the tensions rubbed off on bounce off each other with Kira and Bashir. Again. It's very much in that Star Trek universe, but you can feel the writers going, oh yes, internal conflict. So they're she's studying the orb to find out where the Celestial Temple is, and she remembers her birth. I was much happy with what they did with Dax by the third or fourth season. I like the one where she has her parcels inhabit other people, and what's the name? Dabago, Lita. Whoa, she was hot in that one. But then Odo takes on, and he becomes Curzon Dax, I think. All right. Then you got O'Brien's leaving, and the Kardashians show up at last, right? And they're a good villain, right? They you can see they're the main villain for the show, and it works well. And again, the whole thing just bleeds class, right? So she's worked out where the temple is. So they come up with this thing to disable the Kardashians, so they can go and look for it without being seen. They've had these new ships called runabouts posted, and again, it feels so expensive. Look, you could do this on your phone now. It feels so expensive. Look at this. Yeah, I forgot how much the changelings look the same in Picard season 3. Right, you can just feel the money that this took, and it really worked as well. Right, it's a good use of their budget. Did like that makeup. Anyway, so he disables the ship so we can see a runabout for the first time, and off they go. Right. So then it gets super Star Trek as they discover the wormhole, and it looks beautiful.
All the orbs found their way into the Bajoran system.
There you go. You can see that.
I'm modifying the flight program.
And it is absolutely fantastic, right? So they find the first stable wormhole. And then inside they come to this. They get forced to stop on their journey back, and they're in the world that's colored by your perception. So here is what I think is totally Star Trek about this, right? Oh, and they send Dax back in a glowy orby thing, right? Now he communes with the aliens, right, who live outside of time and space, right? And it's such a powerful, an inherently Star Trek idea. It's such a clever idea, right? And nowadays, of course, we have time crystals. Used to be in the 60s, you have to go as fast as you could, and then grab onto the gravitational pull of the sun. Then they slunch it around it, and then go into super warp, so you'll break the laws of time and move in time. Now we have time crystals, right? Oh God, and I forgot how good Star Trek was, right? And this was brilliant in several ways. Firstly, it's him trying to communicate with a non-corporeal species that live outside of time and space. The concept of linear time, but much more, it was about his own personal emotional journey, dealing with the death of his wife, and at the same time, right, and again played against his memories. At the same time, you have the whole story of the Gold Descartes trying to lay claim on the find out what's going on and lay claim on the wormhole, right? And it again, pure Star Trek, right? It was not dumb. It was a genuinely, and not like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not like huge production value, not like massive space. Although they did massive space later, right? But no, they're telling a story, right? And it was really a strong story, and a story I was interested in. Anyway, so the other Kardashians show up, and they're going to attack Deep Space Nine. And I remember they called back to this one when they worked out how to make it seem like they were very heavily armed. Right, and Kira was great in battle. She fired all 6 photon torpedoes that had just to get their attention to black away in. Right, so they start attacking the station. Genuine jeopardy again. A story that works, that's interlocked, that's got a beginning, middle, and end. That tells you things. That tells you, that introduces you to ideas. It says so much right. I was blown away. Right, I was genuinely blown away how good it was. Right. And then, eventually Cisco turns up. I always thought it was weird that Torchwood just took that Deep Space Nine door, right? And now everyone's reinvigorated, and Bajor's definitely going to be joining the Federation, or it's an important Federation outpost. And everyone's happy now. He's able to. Does he shake Picard's hand at the end? Let's have a look. Yeah, he does. Yeah, again, it was genuine growth and movement of a character. Oh, and you just don't get that enough, right? So, man, this was a revelation to me. I'm now looking forward to finishing The Sopranos, so I can start it. I've also got to finish Blake 7, right? I got a bunch more Blake 7 to go through. But, we are my go-to for I'm going to go through all 7 seasons of Deep Space Nine. Why? Because it's awesome. Bottom line, it's fucking awesome, and it's better than you remember, right? Google 1080p, a fan AI upscale, right? It really is absolutely awesome. Let's look at some articles about it, because I'm just buzzed about DS9 right now, right? Because I watched it last night, I was like, hey, more of that. That's it. Let's look at Screen Rant. There's got to be something you can take the piss out of. Something Passion would really been a perfect Section 1 operator. Fuck you with Section 91. That was one of the biggest mistakes they did. And I didn't like it at the time, right? Modern Star pretty much admits Deep Space Nine is still the franchise outcast 32 years later. No, I'm sorry. It is the most original and absolutely pure Star Trek, right? I wonder what the Deep Space Nine debate is. We'll look at that next. Both during and after the 7th season run, Deep Space Nine has been set apart from the Star Trek franchise, whereas the other shows had great crossovers. Deep Space Nine had crossovers. They were in a couple of TNG episodes, weren't they? Yeah, and also Voyager's first episode. And reference each other constantly. No, they don't. And I don't know. Deep Space Nine is, for the most part, stood alone with mature themes, political intrigues. Okay, they're not. It's not that. It's not that mature, right? It's still 1990. It's still corporate TV, right? And it pushed the boundaries of what you can do with it for a lot. Deep Space Nine has always been different episodic other shows, right? It's hard as well. Deep Space Nine is something of an outcast from Star Trek. I don't think so. I think real Star Trek fans like Deep Space Nine. It's always been a fan favorite. The best. Look, I remember I watched Deep Space Nine with my wife when we were first married. When she was pregnant, she liked it. I think we saw Voyager. It was Voyager for we got married in '96. So yeah, we saw the end of Deep Space Nine and the beginning of Voyager. Deep Space Nine started out as an outcast of the Star Trek franchise. Well, it started out, again, it was aggressively different. All right? It genuinely aggressively different. And had its own identity. I think did very well for that. It's funny, though, that Avery Brooks had to break them in slowly over the 3 years to get that, the haircut he wanted. I think they gave him his beard first and then allowed him to shave his hair, right? Is this going to say anything? Modern Star Trek has embraced Deep Space Nine as much as other classics. Again, who gives a shit, right? No, don't embrace it. Just leave it alone, okay? Leave it alone. Nobody wants you. Like, don't embrace Deep Space Nine. Do us a favor, right? Do us a favor. They did Troubles and Tribulations. This was brilliant, right? When they thought Kirk was over there. So that's your point. It's not so much why Resident Deep Space Nine is difficult for the modern Star Trek. A. Rooks is done with acting. What Star Trek Deep Space Nine connections with lower deck? No, your lack of a 1080p version, right? That's really what's the problem. And now you get it with fans, right? What is the debate? I'm scared to even look. For what's Star Trek Defiant? Number 21. Oh, wait. This is fuck off. Really? Okay, now I've got to find out what they're talking about. Really? 20th the debate. Wolf joined Deep Space Nine's cast in full season. You a warrior? Yes, you're a warrior. O'Brien, blah, blah, blah. Later in Wolf's tenure, the height of the Dominion War, he and O'Brien made a puzzling bet, especially considering O'Brien's heritage. Now, 28 years, what's the bet? Storyline, Wolf and the crew turned back the entire Romulan invasion. They with a little help from O'Brien. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Basher. When Basher notes O'Brien is Irish, not Scottish, he brushes off concerns saying, we live on a unified Earth. Is that it? That was it? Really? Oh, no, that was bullshit. Sorry, man. That was just bullshit. Really? That wasn't even worth reading. Anything else here? Probably not. Anyway, bottom point is this. I'm really liking Deep Space Nine. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.